Today we're going to start a new document, call it car+ws. We're going to make it 10 by 10. Go ahead and hit OK. Please take a look at today's tip that you did on Wednesday. You're going to pick one, alignment, contrast, repetition, or white space. You're going to pick one out of your podcasting groups, and each of you will do a different one. So choose the one and then let your podcasting group know which one you chose so that each person can choose a different one. We're going to use the abbreviations that you see. Now we'll come over to Illustrator. So we'll have CON for contrast, REP for repetition, ALI for alignment, and WHS for white space. Now, just like we saw at the studio, you're going to be making a logo. Go ahead and make a rectangle, holding down your Shift key. Then go ahead and type out one of the abbreviations for our principles of design. So now I'm going to type out one of our abbreviations, WHS. I want to make it about the size, holding down my Shift key, of the rectangle. Now we're going to talk about text. And I just typed it. Didn't do anything to it. So in this project, we're going to also learn a skill of how to divide shapes. Text right now is not a shape. Text right now is editable. In order to turn it into shapes, we're going to right-click and create outlines. There's a lot of answers in Illustrator with a right-click. So we are now going to click on Create Outlines. Then we're going to come to our line tool. And you can be creative and cut a spot in each of the letters. Then I'm going to select everything. I can see my lines. Then I'm going to go to Window, and we're going to go to Pathfinder. And make sure your Pathfinder has a check. You're going to see your Pathfinder window somewhere in your screen. Locate it now. In our Pathfinder, we're going to click on Divide. In order to access the sections that we just divided, we need to go back to that group select that we did in our invention. Right now, it divided and it's all grouped, so it's all attached, but I can go into the individual sections and color them. So we want a dark color of one color and a light color of the other. For example, orange, and now I want a darker orange. So I have this yellow orange. Now I'm going to go to that darker orange, and we're just going to repeat it. The darker orange, the lighter orange. Now you do not have to use orange. You could do a lighter blue and a darker blue. You could do a darker red and a lighter red. You could do a light yellow and a darker green. We're now going to color our square the same way. I want the same color as the orange. And now, let's talk a little bit about color theory. We're going to be putting our text on this box. So to really make it pop up, we're going to use a complementary color, which is the opposite. So we'll go to the palette. We're going to click on this little arrow, and we're going to say invert the color to the opposite color. If it was black, it would make it white. Here, it's going to make it blue. Next, we're going to make our design a little bit more sophisticated than you did for at the studio. We're going to use that line tool once again to make a corner. We'll select it, locate that pathfinder. If you lost it, remember, it's in your windows. Do you remember which one that you need to click on? That's right. You need to click on divide. Now we're going to make it look like it's torn. So here's my paper. I'm going to move it out. Now that we divided our square, make sure that you're in that group select again and click the corner part that you just divided. Right click. Remember we said most answers can be had with the right click. We're going to go to transform, rotate, make sure you have preview, and we're going to type in 180. 180. Now we're going to hit OK. We can't see it because it's both the same color. So our next, we're going to go to our color guide. And we can look at our tints and shades. So we can make it look like it's lighter, or you can make it look like it's darker. And it looks like the page now has been turned up. With your select tool, we can select all our text. We can move it. If I had my group select, notice that it moves individual pieces. So I'm going to go to V. And we're just going to rotate this at a 90 degrees. And now we're going to move it over for our logo. Can't quite see it, so I need to do an arrange, bring to front. It's looking pretty good. Our next task is we need to trim our S. In your case, it may be a different letter, but nonetheless, we're going to select our whole object. We're going to go to the Shape Builder tool. Now the Shape Builder tool allows us to add or take away from shapes. I'm going to place my mouse over the S that is outside the square, hold down the Alt key, and press so. I clicked. I also have the top to do, so I'm going to zoom in so that you can see it. And you should also always zoom in on your work, holding down the Alt key and clicking. Presto. Now it's cut like a pair of scissors. Your next task is looking at your homework. There are examples of each of our principles of design: contrast, repetition, alignment, and white space. Look for the icons, such as repetition has dots, contrast has a square and a circle, or arrows going left and an arrow going up. Alignment has two bars and then a line coming through or on the side or at the top or through the center. White space has a check. Your task is to add that icon into your logo. I'm not going to do it for you. I want you to try. Lastly, with the text tool, you're going to write the name of the principle that you just put up there. In this case, white space. We're going to make each word a different color. And if you have contrast or repetition, then we will have the first three letters, one of the colors, and then for white space, we'll have white as one color and space as the second color. And in this case, we will highlight our text. You're going to be, and in this case, I for the eyedropper. And we want to make it so it goes right to the edge. Right there. White space. Remember, each of you will be doing a different one based off your podcasting group.